Wednesday the 9th of January 2019, and Always with a Smile is off on another bucket list adventure, and this time we're off to Cape Town, South Africa. Now I'm very excited about this trip because it's one that I've organised myself, so it could all go drastically wrong. But hopefully it will go according to plan, and if it does so, then I should have 3 days of cage diving with great white sharks and other apex predators, and then I'll be trekking Table Mountain as well. So there's really 2 aspects of this bucket list adventure, and both of which I'm really looking forward to. So this won't be the first time that I've ever been to Cape Town. I was there back in my early 20s, and when I was there before I managed to do just a morning of cage diving with great white sharks, and it was one of the most incredible and awe-inspiring experiences that I've ever done. To see those beautiful creatures up close and personal in the ocean, it just leaves an imprint on your mind and your memory that is just so special, and that you never ever forget. And it was just such an incredible moment. I knew then I'd have to come back and do it again. And when I was in Cape Town before, I also took the cable car to the top of Table Mountain. First thing in the morning, the clouds were rolling on top of the mountain. It was absolutely majestic. And so I'm looking forward to the trek now, to walking up and just taking in that absolutely beautiful environment. Now, one slight point of concern is that, having spoken to the company that have organised the cage diving experience for me, they've let me know that over the past 4 or 5 weeks there have been hardly any sightings of great white sharks. They've been very scarce indeed. Now, there are plenty of other apex predators in the ocean, but not many great whites, so we just have to keep our fingers crossed and stay hopeful that the great white makes an appearance. The other slight area of concern is that the weather isn't conducive for cage diving at the moment, and as it stands, we could lose at least 1 day due to bad weather. So we've just got through security rather easily for the first time, and now to get some food and have a look at the duty free before my flight in a couple of hours. So my gate's just been announced. We're off to gate 3 and we're flying at 6:15 this evening, so about an hour to wait. So I've just got through passport control, and now hopefully my baggage will be here. So I've picked up my bags, and now hopefully I'll be meeting up with my driver, who will be taking me to my accommodation in Hans Bay. That's always nice to see a board with my name on. Well, that all went pretty smoothly, got through customs no problem, picked up my luggage and met my driver, who seems lovely. She's just gone to get the ticket so we can get out, and then we'll be making our way to my accommodation in Hans Bay. So I've managed to have a couple of hours sleep. I didn't want to sleep for too long. And so now I'm going on a bit of a recce, bit of a wander up and down the strip, see what's about, see if I can grab a bite to eat. So I've just walked down the main road into town, and it's brought me out at this absolutely stunning viewpoint with the ocean behind me. It's a really nice town, there's lots of places to eat, lots of shops, so it shouldn't be a problem staying here for a few days. And I've also spoken to the company that I'm doing the shark diving experience with, and they've informed me that the forecast, it's looking like, well, there's going to be 85-kilometre winds at the weekend. So if we do get out, it's liable to be quite rough, but we'll just have to see what happens. So a little job done, just picked up a few supplies. So I'm back from the apartment. I've just had some dinner which I got from the supermarket, and this afternoon I'm just going to sit outside with my book, do some reading, rest up and recover from the journey. I'm still waiting to hear about tomorrow's arrangements, but fingers crossed we're all set to go, and then it's really going to be a case of just watching the weather for the next couple of days. So I've just come inside because I've had a phone call from Tracy, who is organising my shark diving experience, and unfortunately she's told me that there's going to be no cage diving going on in this area for at least another 4 or 5 days because the weather has deteriorated that much. Now that's obviously really disappointing. However, there is a possibility that I could go to somewhere called Mossel Bay, which is around 3.5 to 4 hours drive from here, and there's the opportunity to do maybe a couple of days cage diving there. So what we're trying to do at the moment is just sort out the logistics and the details that be involved in that, because obviously I'd have to cancel this accommodation, I'd have to make my way there, find accommodation there, and then find a way of getting back to Cape Town for the rest of my trip. So everything is still a little bit up in the air, but I'm being positive, and you know, I've just got to look at this and think, well, if there's the opportunity for me to get into the water with some great whites, I've really got to take it. So I've just spent about the last hour talking and liaising with Tracy about what we might be able to do over the next few days. Quite simply, there's no cage diving going to go on in this particular area. The weather is too bad, the swell is too high, the waves are too high, the wind is too high. It's just not going to happen. So I'm only really left with one option, because I've come all this way to South Africa in order to cage dive with great whites, and so that means I've really got to make the trip to Mossel Bay, which is to say about a 4-hour drive from where I am now, and then I have to get back to Cape Town afterwards. Now the logistics of it mean that I'll only be able to cage dive for 2 days as opposed to the 3 I'd originally planned, and it is going to cost me a little bit more money because I'll get new accommodation, I'll have to leave this place, and there's obviously the transport as well. So it's not ideal, no, but it's not a deal breaker, and in these situations you just have to make the best of whatever situation arises and be positive. So I have to admit that today has been testing, both mentally and emotionally. I've been looking forward to this trip for a long time, and you just hope that everything goes according to plan and according to the schedule, and unfortunately Mother Nature seems to have conspired against me on this occasion, and it's been a bit of a blow today, but you've just got to try and put a positive spin on it. I am here and I've got to make the best of the situation, and so we are finalising what we will be doing over the next few days, and I will hopefully be able to give you an update very shortly. So I think we've now sorted out what I'm going to be doing for the next few days. I've just come off the phone with Tracy, and tomorrow morning I'm going to be going to a big cat sanctuary called Panthera. I'm going to see some lions and tigers and do some photography, and then the following day I'll be leaving very early in the morning to go to Mossel Bay to do 2 days of cage diving with great whites before then heading back to Cape Town to Table Mountain. So it has been a very stressful day, but hopefully now this trip and this adventure will become what I hoped and imagined it would be.
Okay, good morning everyone. Had a good night's sleep last night, needed it as well, I was pretty shattered, and we're just on our way to Panthera, which is the big cat sanctuary, and you know, fingers crossed, the trip starts now. arrived at the animal sanctuary. We're just waiting for other members of the public to come, and then we're going to begin our tour. It's an educational visit, so hopefully we should learn a lot as well as get the opportunity to take some photos. So that was an absolutely fantastic experience. You know, we were really lucky. The big cats came out to play, saw some fantastic sights, but also learned an awful lot. You know, you hear about the hunting that goes on, the welfare of these animals, what's being done, places like this. It's absolutely eye-opening and heartbreaking at the same time, but also inspiring that there are places, sanctuaries like this, that are really making an attempt to conserve the big cats and to keep them in an environment which is as natural as it can be. It's wonderful to see, and all the animals, we've seen lots of before and after pictures of when the animals arrived. Just doing a wonderful job here at the sanctuary, and I'd really recommend that, you know, if you can take the time to come and visit. So I've just had a bit of a rest since getting back from the animal sanctuary, putting together the kit that I'm going to need for first thing tomorrow when we leave Harms Bay and make our way to Mossel Bay to do the cage diving. I have to take quite a bit of kit, my underwater cameras, all my gear, but I've got to separate that up with my other items, which I wasn't expecting to do. But with the change of itinerary, it means just a little bit of added work and foreplanning. But this morning was excellent, and I am so excited to get in the cage tomorrow. So I'm just walking into town to pick up a few more items of food, and you can see how bad the weather is getting. The storm clouds in the distance, the wind is so blustery. It's no wonder they've called off the shark diving for around 4 or 5 days. Shopping done.
Well, this trip is nothing but interesting so far. I've just had a phone call, and apparently wildfires are coming through the area where I'm at right now, and so lots of places are being evacuated. Now, when I went for a walk earlier, you could see the dark cloud. Now, I assume that was storm. Whether it's the smoke from the wildfires, I'm not too sure. But there's just a bit of a concern now with the weather being what it is, with the wind so high, that these fires could spread. And as I say, there are evacuations occurring all over the area that I'm in. So it's interesting times, but hopefully it won't cause any problems for me personally. but we just have to wait and see. Just adds a bit of fun to the trip.
So because of the early start tomorrow, I'm going out for dinner a little bit earlier tonight, and it'll be interesting to see what's happening with the weather. I've been sent a picture of the wildfire and it looks absolutely terrifying. One thing I didn't really count on whilst I was here is rain, and well, it's good for the wildfire, not so good if I want to go out for dinner. Well, I'm not too sure whether this is a good idea or not. Looking at the sky, probably not. Walking along the street now, you can really smell the smoke from the wildfire, which shows just how close it actually is. Shelter and found a lovely little restaurant. Well, the weather's just not far out, but luckily they served my steak. Thanks, man. Oh my god. I mean, that was a gorgeous steak. But now I'm faced with this. It's absolutely hammering it down. The couple next to me in the restaurant, they had been evacuated. Oh my god, they've been evacuated and they lost all their power, and they weren't too happy either, but well, it's no wonder everything's closing down and shutting down. This is absolutely atrocious. Running after a steak isn't a good idea. Go in the UK winter, they said. It's the summer in South Africa, they said. What?
But it just keeps getting more and more exciting. We've now lost power. So I was going to have an early night anyway, but with no electricity, I might as well clock out now. Good morning. It's about 5:15, so I've got to keep my voice down. Still not got any electricity, but luckily I've been given this light to help me pack up and get ready. Very excited about what lies ahead today. The trip's been eventful so far, but really want to get into the meat, so to speak, of why I've come. So yeah, can't wait to get into the cage this morning. Okay, so finally we're off. Fingers crossed. This is where the trip is going to actually start to get going. Fingers crossed. So about an hour and a half from Mossel Bay. I've just been going through my camera gear, making sure the settings are correct, making sure I've got everything. Just getting really excited now about what lies ahead. So we've finally made it to Mossel Bay, and I'm outside the White Shark Diving Centre now. Got about half an hour before we have to be here, then we're going to have our briefing, go down to the harbour in the boat and get out there. This is what I've come for. About a 30-minute ride until we hit our spot where we'll be going in the water. So it's not too bad, it's not too rough. Saying that now, I'll probably be sick later, but yeah, it is so good to be out here doing this. I've been looking forward to this for so many years, to get the opportunity to come back and do it again. It's just going to be amazing. So we've just dropped anchor, had another little briefing again, just about how we're going to get in the cage and what the score's going to be. and I think in a few minutes we're going to be getting in there. Over the side. Oh well. Well, I'm shattered, but what a fantastic experience that was. First group went into the cage and the shark was immediately there. Some great sightings. And then I was in the second group. We had to wait a little bit of time because that shark had disappeared, and we're probably 10 or 15 minutes just waiting for something to happen. And then we saw a glimpse of a shark. We all got in the cage and that was it. It was just unbelievable after that. You know, 2-3 sharks all coming round. One came right up, hit the cage, hit my camera. Just absolutely fantastic to see them just in the water. It's almost indescribable. You know, it's such a thing to see them actually in real life, to see them swimming past. It is truly awe-inspiring and breathtaking. Almost lost for words. And then the third group went in, and again, it's a big 3 metre
Great white was in the water, absolutely fascinating to watch, and it would come up and it would bite the bait and rip it away and take it. Just such a overwhelming experience, and I get to do it all again tomorrow. Coming back, got a little bit rough, and I did throw up over the side once, but I have got some pills just in case it's rough tomorrow. And now I've settled in, and this is lovely. What a room. I've got a pool and everything, and we have started the holiday. So it's just approaching 6 o'clock. I'm absolutely shattered, but had a shower to freshen up, get all the salt water off me. I think I've just got to go and find something to eat. I'm absolutely famished. Before I do go out though, I just wanted to show you this view. It's absolutely breathtaking. I just wish I had more than a day here. So that was absolutely delicious. I started off with a quinoa and chicken salad, and then managed to devour my way through the most succulent of tuna steaks. There's nothing quite like fresh fish just melted in my mouth. So I say it's been a long day. I'm absolutely shattered. So I'm going to head back to the hotel, sort a few bits out for tomorrow, and then get another early night. Shattered and good night. Good morning. It's about 7:30. I'm up and showered and about to enjoy my breakfast in front of this lovely view. I'm being picked up in a couple of hours to do my second cage dive, and then this afternoon it's going to be about a 4.5 hour drive back to Cape Town for the next leg of my journey. So I've just arrived at White Shark Africa, and I'm really looking forward to my second cage dive with great white sharks. Okay, so we're wandering down to the boat now. Apparently the wind is getting up, so we're going to do the majority of the briefing on the boat. And I'm just hoping that I'm not sick over the side again. Well, here we go again. So another fantastic morning cage diving with great whites. It's different to yesterday, maybe not so big. They were still coming right up close to the cage, taking the bait. We saw the cutest little baby great white, which was just awesome. I thanked all the crew. They've been absolutely brilliant whilst I was here. Really informative, really educational about the great white, full of enthusiasm, and that's what you want. And you know, when I came out here, I kind of knew what to expect because I've done it before, but I'm still blown away. And to see these beautiful, majestic creatures up close and personal in the water, I feel so privileged, so privileged. Well, now for a short 4.5 hour drive back to Cape Town. Morning. So I wasn't really able to do any diary last night. Basically we got here quite late because of the journey, and then I had to unpack and get some food in me as quickly as I can because it's a 4 AM start, ready to trek Table Mountain. And the adventure continues in that the room wasn't necessarily quite there. The telly was flashing crazily when I came into the room. I managed to get that sorted, and the door doesn't lock, and then the shower flooded. So there were a few things that they're going to sort out, probably going to move rooms today, but I got to bed probably just after 10 o'clock, which was a couple of hours later than I'd hoped. So a little bit tired this morning, but looking forward to today. To trek Table Mountain is going to be absolutely fantastic. Some of the sights and the views are going to be amazing. So really looking forward to that. I've just got to wake up and try and find some food. So I'm here a little early. I'm being kindly lit up by a police car, which is nice. Feeling quite fresh actually, which is surprising. Just had a look over the city at night with the lights. What a view! I mean, absolutely incredible. So I'm just waiting now for my guide. Well, hopefully somebody will show up. Otherwise, I'll be either going back to bed or doing the trek on my own. So other people have come. So we've been going for about 45 minutes now. We're already above the lion's head, which you can maybe see in the background. It's quite a hard trek. You can see I'm out of breath. How much of that is due to the fact that I've not had much sleep and any breakfast, but even now, and we're not even started yet really, the views over Cape Town are absolutely stunning. So apparently now we are halfway up in terms of elevation. Maybe not in terms of time, but in terms of elevation. The sun is just coming up over the back of the mountain there. The views, as you can see, absolutely stunning. As you can see, some parts of this climb are quite technically challenging and quite terrifying. Holy moly. So we've gone through the most technical part of the climb, and we've still got about an hour and a half to go, but a lot of that is zigzagging and hugging the mountain, so hopefully the OMG moments are now behind me and I can relax into the hike. So you can see now the clouds rolling in. Not quite sure how much of this view we're going to have left. Maybe the sun will come out and burn it off. And maybe we'll get to the top and not be able to see anything. Who knows? So I think this is our last bit of scrambling up the mountain. So you can see it's a lot greener at the moment. There's a lot more moisture in the air here amongst the clouds, and that means that the environment has changed somewhat. But looking up, it doesn't look like we've got that far to go. So it's coming up to about 9 o'clock, which means we've been trekking for about 3.5 hours. You can see the summit, not very far ahead at all. So hopefully we should be there in the next 15 or 20 minutes. And so we have made it. We got to the top of Table Mountain. It took just over 3.5 hours. Absolutely beautiful trek up the mountain and some sensational views now. A well-earned breakfast.
Table Mountain. Absolutely fantastic, well worth the early start, although I am pretty shattered now. Great views from the top, just unbelievable. And just an incredible morning. You know, when you get up there and you're in the clouds and then the sun breaks through and you can see what you can see. Oh, it's just magic. It's just magic. So I just got back to the hotel, made a little complaint to reception, so they give me a different room, and they're going to comp me later on as well. So that's all good news. I'm pretty tired. It's been a great morning up on Table Mountain. I'm in desperate need of a wash, and then we've got another couple of days where it's all about just chilling, relaxing, and resting, ready for the trip home. It has to be said though, the views from this hotel are absolutely incredible. So I've had a really nice afternoon. We got back, changed rooms, settled in, unpacked, and then had a much needed shower. And then I went and sat outside in the sun, in front of the pool, just for a couple of hours, just to switch off, relax after this morning's, what was pretty hard climb, Table Mountain. And then I hit the gym in the hotel, which is pretty small, but it's good fun. And now I've just come for dinner. I'm going Thai tonight, and I'm having an early night, because tomorrow I think I'm going to be up quite early again, because my body clock is set at that at the moment. So yeah, it's just been a really, really nice day, and a really nice way to end this trip. Good morning. It's about 7:30 here. I've been up since around 5 o'clock. I went outside and did a sunrise photo shoot. It's absolutely beautiful. No one around, just me and my camera. Just fantastic stuff. I'm going to go and get some breakfast in a minute, and then today will be a lazy day really. I'm going to do some reading, sit out in the sun, go for a walk, and just rest and recover after what has been an absolutely fantastic trip. I have to say, this is a pretty impressive breakfast spread. I'm probably not going to be able to eat it all, but I'll give it a go. So what a fantastic day I've had. Started off this morning with possibly the biggest breakfast that I've ever had, and I've got to say that I'm already looking forward to tomorrow's breakfast. And then I sat by the pool for about 3 hours, just reading my book, soaking up the sun and enjoying a bit of downtime. And then went for a run along the beach for an hour, barefoot, absolutely beautiful. Came back, had some lunch, and then did a little bit of admin before hitting the gym for an hour or so. And tonight, I'm going back to the Thai restaurant for another lovely meal. I am so pleased with the way that this trip has gone. We started off with 1 or 2 issues, and I was, I guess, concerned that it was all going to go a bit dodgy, but it has really come together, and I've had the most wonderful of experiences out here doing something which I've been wanting to do for so many years. I'm so overwhelmed by what I've seen out here, the experiences that I've had. It has been quite remarkable to me, and I hope you can hear in my voice how passionate I am about this trip and about what I've done. I have been looking forward to cage diving for 20 years since I last did it, and to do it again and to experience it and to capture what I've captured has been absolutely incredible. And I would recommend it to absolutely anybody out there. If you've got a dream, if you've got a passion, if there's something that you want to do not let anything stop you. Don't hold back. Go for it. You only get one life, and you've just got to live it.
meal, full to the brim. It was absolutely delicious. Now I am going to walk back to my hotel, climb into bed, and have a very peaceful night. So it's my final day of the trip today. I've just come up from breakfast, had a good night's sleep, and my plans for today really, I'm just going to take it nice and easy. I'm going to go for a little walk along the beach this morning. I'm going to check out at 12. I've got a reservation booked at 4 o'clock, and then I am off to the airport at 6 p.m. ready for a 9:15 flight. So it's really just a day of enjoying the sunshine and my last moments in South Africa. So as I've already said, this week has been absolutely fantastic. I've been made to feel so welcome by everybody that I have met. I've had such a wonderful time, and I have memories that will last me till the day that I die. And I know that the trip didn't start as I'd hoped, but it just goes to show that, you know, things can work out. You know, they come together. If you have that belief and you have that desire and passion, you know, you can make things happen in life. So I'm just walking back from the restaurant after having my final meal of the trip. Now it's time to collect my luggage and make my way to the airport.